Sometimes things in songs don't make sense unless you hear everything that comes before it, and it only has the impact if you take the whole journey to where we are in the song now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Sublime are back with a brand new track for the first time in a very long time, thanks to the late frontman Bradley Nowell's son, Jakob. This is actually the first all-original track from the band since the 1996 self-titled hit effort, and is tentatively set for a December release according to this article from Rolling Stone. I really knew nothing about this band most of my life. In fact, I heard Santeria really for the first time here on the channel just last year. And once that song started playing, I was like, okay, this sounds familiar. I just never knew who it was, or you couldn't ask me who sang it. And I feel like I've been missing out as a bass player on bass player Eric Wilson's juicy bass lines. And since that video, I've gotten so many requests for other Sublime songs to take me back and go down the Sublime rabbit hole. The biggest problem is every single song is completely different. Every request I get, that's always a really good sign. But sometimes it's overwhelming for me just to be able to decide on a song. So today I'm going to do exactly what I did with the band Sleep Token. I see a new song, I go, okay, I'm going to start there. Easy. Then let's go backwards. And I want to thank our members over on Patreon for letting me know this dropped. So without further ado, let's check out the brand new single from Sublime titled Ensenada.
It's a test of the ancient firebenders to keep the flame.
Oh, is that what they're calling it now? A small town, a big mouth. Well, all I got is honesty. Hard-working girls always come on to me.
Oh, okay. You rarely get to see what bass players are playing, and I know this is sort of a studio video. Let me see that again.
Honesty, hard-working girls always come on to me.
Is that a Dingwall? Whoa. Heck yeah. I host the Dingwall podcast. Look it up on Spotify. It's titled Comfortably Strung. That must be their Super J, one of their newer basses. Their basses are pretty race car-ish. The combustion models look very futuristic, but they're now coming out with these sort of Nashville, more classic designs. So that's just really, really cool to see. Okay, that I did not expect that, based on what I know about Sublime. Let's go back to right here.
A small town, a big mouth. Well, all I got is honesty. Hard-working girls always come on to me. I guess I gotta go. See you when I'm back from Mexico. Don't hate if you can't relate to this sunburned style street parade. I don't wanna be your man no more.
Whoa.
I wanna make love to Ensenada on my mind.
Ensenada on my mind. That was really clever. Sounded like it might have been sort of a modal interchange, borrowing into another key, and I'm kind of listening to this bass line groove along. It's kind of why I got the P bass out. It's the mellowest bass I have, and I've come to learn that based on what I've heard from Sublime so far, which is very little, that Eric Wilson has that style of bass playing that nothing really ever repeats. Yes, the framework and the feel and some of the staples of the bass part remain the same, but he's very much kind of reacting to the music as it happens. I hear a little but and it's like, oh, the hi-hat did that. Then I hear a ba-gump, ba-bump, and then it's like, oh, the kick drum did that. So that's exactly what gluing together a song means as a bass player, taking elements from everyone else and just gelling them together in one bass line. And you don't even really notice it unless you're going looking for it, because it just sounds like a groovy bass line. So I imagine a bit of that is just intuitive to him innately as a player. I'm going to be listening for that, but a really colorful sort of transition back. Let me just start verse 1 over again, see where we're at.
Small town, a big mouth. Well, all I got is honesty. Hard-working girls always come on to me. I guess I gotta go. See you when I'm back from Mexico. Don't hate if you can't relate to this sunburned style street parade. I don't wanna be your man no more. I wanna make love to Ensenada on my mind.
Cool. Okay, even cooler to see him using that Dingwall live. Really unexpected. I just love seeing Dingwalls get into the hands of other players. The Dingwall bass I have back there on the wall is the last bass looking around this room that I would have pulled out for a Sublime video. And I think that says a lot about Dingwall. I promise this isn't a Dingwall ad. I'm just very thrown off by that. I love seeing them get into this market. Okay, talking about what I was saying earlier is the bass line really reacts to things around it. I feel like the bass line is getting more subdivided here as the sort of turntable scratchy thing happens here. You can hear that subdivision creeping in the bass line, so it just kind of gives a lot of context when he does that right here. It's got this sort of swung, and the bass line is really doing a... lot more subdivision there.
And as the day is long, something I can promise you.
That dude looks so cool.
I can promise you.
Right here. I mean, just oozing swagger. I love it. And his bass lines are just as chill as he sort of looks, if I'm just going off of his vibe. And I love the articulation I'm picking up now on the main verse bass line. The way he's placing that slide sort of like a... almost synth-like, and just the placement of it, almost like a pitch bend on a synth that you just kind of throw in at the end of a phrase, and it kind of sounds unnatural, but it's a really unique placement to how it fits into the overall groove. Right here, you'll hear it.
As the day is long, and as the day is long.
Just the count it's on is just not intuitive for me. What I would do, I really like stuff like this. I learn these little nuggets of things. The more I do these videos, maybe try putting the slide on that count. Haven't done that before.
And as the day is long, something I can promise you, that if I was a motherfucking president, I'd hire 20 strippers.
And I think the chord's changing here. It's hard to stop so much. I just want to kind of find exactly how he's articulating
That
this.
if I was a motherfucking president, I'd hire 20 strippers for my cabinet. Shut up about need not apply. If you never hear another word, you know the reason why. There's something you should know. I declare you're stoked. I don't wanna be your man no more. I wanna make love to Ensenada.
Interesting, bass dropped out here.
Oh, I don't wanna be your man no more. I wanna make love to Ensenada on my mind.
Okay, really quickly, you know, I know a lot of hardcore fans of Sublime. This whole thing and announcement is probably a massive statement to them, really shaking things up in the Sublime world. I'm coming at it completely as an outsider. I honestly would have thought this is another Sublime song. Had I heard it in the wild on the radio and you said, hey, you know who that is? And I'd go, it sounds kind of reggae ska. You go, that's Sublime. I go, okay, it sounds like what I know Sublime to sound like. But it's a son singing now, and I can't draw enough comparison to really even say what I think. What do you guys think? Does it sound authentic to their sound? I will say for a band coming back to the surface here with something new, usually when that happens, it can tend to sound kind of overproduced. Like it almost sounds too new. Like you could just tell, oh, it's a new take. This really feels warm and authentic based on that kind of sound, that really dry, warm blanket type of production. It doesn't feel overproduced. It still has that sort of raw liveliness to it. That's about all I can really comment on if I'm going to compare this new era of Sublime with what I've heard from their, the 90s. So I'm curious what you guys think, if you're really familiar with the band, and how are the fans taking this news in general? Because the only other bit of context I know is that his son Jakob had performed Sublime songs under a different name. So actually coming back out and being Sublime under that moniker is quite the statement, I imagine. Back to the song here. I find it interesting that the bass part was left out here. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess they sort of extended that little D flat, E flat, D flat, that colorful transition back to the chorus. They leave it out the first repeat. Maybe it's more impactful in the second one. I was kind of missing the bass there, so let me just hear that again, maybe in context.
If you never hear another word, you know the reason why. There's something you should know. I declare you're stoked. I don't wanna
Okay,
be your
why
man
is the bass
no
out
more.
here?
I wanna make love to
Just a breather?
Ensenada on my mind.
Okay, normally that section we just heard only lasts that one repeat. So now it doubles and the bass comes in here. So maybe that's just the strategy there.
Oh, I don't wanna be your man no more. I wanna make love to Ensenada on my mind.
I don't know. Okay, there's some context now.
Make love to Ensenada on my mind.
Same move there.
Oh, I don't wanna be your man.
Okay, I get it. Context is so important with songwriting. You know, this makes me think of something I'm dealing with right now. Copyright stuff on YouTube. Of course I deal with it. I feature songs in my videos. And I think the big argument with fair use, and I'm not getting off on a tangent, I promise, this is just a quick thought, is fair use is permissible because you should use the least amount of the song possible to get your point across. Well, if I were just to take snippets of this song, random little snippets to talk about it, I couldn't get the big picture I just got by hearing the contrast between this section we just paused on to how it references the first time we heard it where the bass was empty, because it sounded like, why would they leave the bass out there? They hadn't the first time. The second time they did, then it repeated with the bass in. I didn't have context yet. Now they left the bass out again on this section. I'm talking about the D flat, E flat. Then they come in with this really energetic take on that same sound. And I think the whole picture comes into view more clearly the more of the song you hear. Sometimes things in songs don't make sense unless you hear everything that comes before it. And it only has the impact if you take the whole journey to where we are in the song now. That's why it's important to hear the whole song. You can't just hear 30 seconds of a song and glean that. Okay, enough with the rant there, but this made sense now. It's impactful. I dig that. Okay, see, it comes in here, bass is gone, but a lot of other things are gone. So it's like, okay. Then it all comes back in and kind of just goes right in the face again. That's good songwriting.
Well, I don't wanna be your man no more.
Just a thread keeping you on there, the guitar.
Ensenada on my mind. Oh,
yes, see?
No more.
That's Dynamics 101 in songwriting. How to have impact with the same ingredients you've already given the listener. Dig it.
I declare you stop. There's something you should know. I declare you stop. There's something you should know. I declare you stop. There's something you should know. I declare you so stoked.
Kind of ending it major. Okay, it's been minor the past few times. As much as I wish I could comment on how this fits into the Sublime narrative and band history, I just simply can't. To me, this is another Sublime song. And then I think what I'm saying there is that all the ingredients I would love to hear in a Sublime song, I feel like were present. The vocals were great. They had a bit of a more mellow, kind of younger, softer delivery than maybe what I've heard. Santeria. I think I went on to hear a few more songs from that same album after that video last year. Let me know what you guys think. Fill in the gaps for me there, because normally this is the part where I compare and contrast and I just can't do that. But just standalone as a song, catchy stuff. Just enough weird, quirky, colorful stuff happening in the chord progression there. It's kind of vague on how that function, going to the D flat, E flat, resolving on the F, but still having the C minor, but then ending the song on C major. Because normally it goes E flat major, D flat. And then it goes down a half step and ends on C minor, but then the song just ended on C major. So is that sort of a Picardy third thing? No point in getting into that. It's Sublime. The feels were immaculate, the vibe, the bass tone. And yeah, big warm blanket bass grooves that latch onto everything going on and really glue it all together. That's a cool position to be in a band. I mean, for any band, a bass player, you're sort of in that position, but that's a pretty coveted job. Sublime. That's the glue that holds it all together. But that was the new Sublime. They're back. I'm curious to hear how this entire album campaign unfolds, again, with a tentative release date of December. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here today. If you'd like to support this channel further, please come find us over on Patreon. I do full albums over there. They're lots of fun. We vote on them each month, and I'm very grateful for the amazing community of patrons we have. Come hang out with us. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so now. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.